All great artists draw from the same resource, the human heart, which tells us that we are all more alike than we are unalike. This is a quote from Maya Angelou, and while she is a world-renowned poet who has gained the respect of many throughout her career, she is just one artist out of millions. Every artist has their own opinions and creative visions that make the world a more vibrant and interesting place. For me personally, I work a lot within the artistic realms of music and dance, and therefore that is where the majority of my creative visions and perspectives lie. However, every artist has their own strengths, resources, and experiences that changes their opinions on art as a whole. But what does it mean to be an artist? What qualifies someone to label themselves with such a title? Do they have to partake in the standard art forms like visual arts, performing arts, etc.? The definition of what it means to be an artist does not have a definite answer. Instead, it has thousands of different responses based on your own personal beliefs and opinions. My name is Bella Cannon, and for my senior project, I've been searching for my definition as to what it means to be an artist, and I've determined that you must possess these 3 qualities. 1, you must be well-versed in your art form. 2, you must have a purpose behind your artistic creation. And 3, you have to have a passion for your art form. First things first, you have to be well-versed in your art form. You can't say, reheat a frozen pizza in the microwave and then call yourself a culinary artist. You have to be a student of the art form. Know all its structures and rules to be able to execute your artistic abilities as well as possible. A key element to being well-versed in your art form is knowing its history. Knowing the roots of your art form and how it has evolved over time provides us with the guidance and inspiration that helps us improve as artists. That's why I chose to research the history of tap dance as part of my senior project. The history of tap dance is a topic that I've always wanted to learn more about, and it's opened my eyes to how influential tap dance is. It's an American art form with key ties to African American culture and has become part of the mainstream media in the 1940s. Some may say that tap dance is a dying art form, but as a tap dancer myself, I can confidently say that tap dance is becoming stronger and more accessible than ever. The transition from tap dancing solely to jazz music to also pop, rock, and rap music has greatly increased its popularity over the past few years, and I hope that it only continues to grow. However, knowing how tap dance has evolved over time provides me with the context I need to improve myself as an artist, as well as improve the art form as a whole. Knowing the history behind tap dance provides me with a strong but important opportunity to progress tap dance in today's day and age, which also improves myself as an artist. Therefore, it's impossible to improve in an art form without knowing its history and the structures of the art form. And I believe that improvement is an essential part to being an artist. Moving on, another important aspect to being an artist, in my opinion, is having a purpose for your artistic creation. For many, art is a way for you to express yourselves in a way unlike any other. For these people, art is often a very vulnerable and personal experience that you use to express your emotions. However, your creation does not have to have a deep and personal meaning in order for it to be considered art. For example, many artists use their art as a catalyst to tell stories through, whether that be a story from history, a fairy tale, or something completely imaginative. Or, art can be used to spread a message of hope or happiness, or spread awareness to a certain topic. For my senior project, my purpose was more practical. When I set out to compose my song completely from scratch, I decided that I wanted to tap dance to my song. That was my purpose, to create a song with a lot of cool beats and interesting rhythms that would complement my tap dancing really nicely. Therefore, I approached composing my song very differently than if I were composing a song for my own personal enjoyment. If that were the case, I would have included a lot more acoustic instruments, which is actually how I started my composition process. However, I quickly realized that a more electronic sounding song would sound better with my tap dancing, which is why I decided to go in that direction. When it came time for me to choreograph my tap dance, I approached choreographing it very differently than when I choreographed a solo for myself that I planned to perform on stage. Instead of putting all my favorite steps and tricks into it, I took a step back and still made it challenging, but perhaps easier for others to pick up, and with simpler options for those who may have felt overwhelmed by my choreography. Therefore, I had a specific purpose and goal in mind in every step in my creative process, which helped make my art a more cohesive and better finished product. So I would like to share a quick short piece of my final product with you, and I hope that you're able to hear the purposes that I just mentioned in both my song and dance. So, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. So even if you're not a tap dancer or a particularly musical person, hopefully you were able to hear how my tap dancing complemented or even matched the music at some point. And while I know the majority of you here aren't tap dancers and may not have found what I just did very simple, at no point was my choreography very fast, intricate, or involved a lot of crazy tricks, which makes my choreography look more approachable and achievable for tap dancers. And finally, an artist must have a passion for their art form. Going back to my old example, if you reheat a frozen pizza in the microwave, you don't love the art of cooking. You're just looking for something easy to make to satisfy your hunger. A true artist lets the love and passion they have for their art form consume them, and uses that passion as a driving force to help them continue creating. The love and passion artists have for their art form is what pushes them to be the very best they can be, and leads to the most incredible and breathtaking creations. For me, dance and music is like my second home. It's given me my closest friends, my favorite memories, and endless joy for years and years. I can stand here today and honestly say that I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for music and dance. And it's that love and passion I have for my art forms that pushes me to be the very best artist I can be, and will make each and every one of my creations better than the last. However, the love someone has for the art form can look different from person to person. As part of my senior project, I have been interviewing friends, family, and mentors involved in either music or dance as to how their art form has impacted them. Here are some of the words and phrases that popped up most often with my interviewees. It was fascinating to hear how everyone has such intense but yet different passions for their art form. For some, dance and music is their livelihood, while for others, it's just simply a hobby. But one common thread I found throughout each and every one of my interviews is that dance and/or music had a positive impact on their life and continues to be one of their biggest sources of happiness. I found a similar trend in my research on the psychological effects of music and dance. After participating in a one-day free dance workshop, 75.9% of dancers felt more confident in themselves. Before, that number was less than half. The same can be said for music. Music therapy, a very common form of therapy, can often be used to help validate your emotions, which can provide a better quality of life. In all these examples, music and dance produced more positive emotions than negative, and it's those positive emotions that work as the driving force to help continue creating these amazing pieces of art. Artists who love what they do are the happiest and most successful versions of themselves, which is why having passion is perhaps the most important quality for an artist to possess. Now, just because I believe an artist must possess these three qualities does not mean that you have to believe the same as well. You may be sitting there right now thinking that I have this completely wrong and you don't need any of these things to be an artist. And that's okay. Art is extremely subjective and up to each individual interpretation. And that includes the definition of what it means to be an artist. In fact, maybe you're more of an artist than you think. Maybe you're a 3-season athlete who's never even thought of yourself as an artist. But maybe you should. By my definition, as long as you know your sport well, you play with a purpose, and love what you play, you can be an artist of track, tennis, soccer, anything you want. Or maybe you hate the idea of being an artist and you never want to think of yourself that way. And that's equally valid. My only goal here today is to share what my definition of an artist is. Because I believe, like Maya Angelou, that we are all more alike than we are unalike. Thank you for your time, and any questions?